Hey, Soul Survivor. So, we're going to talk about toxic communication and why sometimes you just got to back out. So, this is going to be kind of my own experience. And so, I went on this like date, friend date, whatever. And it was kind of expensive. He paid for it. We needed parking that was like $110. He offered to pay me back, but I went ahead and paid it. He was a gentleman. We had to stop at a restaurant or a rest area, gas station, and he's like, go ahead and pick something out because, we're using the bathroom. We should go ahead and patronize them. So I just picked out Cheez-Its. I didn't take advantage of him, but he was a gentleman, paid for dinner. We got hot dogs at this game that I went to with him. But it started out where he had mentioned we should go to this nice restaurant. And I said, okay. Yeah, that'd be nice. And so then he just leaves it to where I'm supposed to ask myself out. Supposed to ask him to, spend money on me. So it was just kind of like awkward. I'm kind of traditional, but let's get into the nitty gritty of this. So I'm trying to scroll back up. So it started out nice. I enjoyed my time with him, but then over time, um, he started getting toxic, and we'll just put it that way. So he did ask me recently uh, if I'd like to go out to this nice restaurant, and he sent me a text. So I told him I was kind of like doing all this work, and he's okay. We'll just have it in January. And I said, okay, sounds good. And then last night, almost 11 o'clock, he had asked me out. And so I didn't get it till about 4:30 today. I was up really, really late. And then I had to wake up quickly and go to the train station. And then I had to teach online. And then I went right back to bed. So I didn't have time to check my messages, but I responded instantly with, sorry, I didn't get this. So he starts, if I were to provide exact dates and times with the military precision of the atomic clock and throw rose petals at your feet and call you princess, could you possibly show up? So I got a little silly and I'm like, what kind of jewelry will you bring? I was just joking, but he's like, oh, for the love of God and man, you are thorough, high maintenance. And I'm like, not really. I was being sarcastic. And then I go, but you had this image in your head of who I am. And he's like, what's your opinion on that? And I'm like, I don't want to go there. And I asked him, how would you describe me? And he said, someone that has suffered a recent altering life experience, such as a nasty breakup. Now, granted, I haven't been with anybody in a long time, long time. He goes, now you are having a midlife crisis and a possible hatred towards men. So they take this, when you're not stroking their ego as like, I hate all men, something like that. So I said, I'm curious why you said I profiled you because you live in Indiana. And I'm like, how and why? I'm very curious why you felt that way because I have a lot of friends in Indiana. And the only thing I remember saying is that, yeah, that you do have a nice house because you showed me like some Halloween decorations and I was complimentary and interested, in his stories about where he lives. So he's like, I have already answered the question mentioned before. Please refer to your tobacco question. And there's this one question I don't remember. I don't ever ask anybody if they chew tobacco. But maybe somehow, some way, we might have passed a sign. I might have asked him something. I don't remember it. But I'm not saying that I didn't. But I said, I know you said because you live in Indiana, but what did I do or say that made you feel profiled? Because I'm trying to understand. And I know I didn't profile him because I don't have a problem with pretty much anybody. And I said, I don't remember asking about the tobacco. I don't usually ask people that, but vaguely feel I may have said something. Because in Michigan, they have a lot of like 420 type signs because it's legal. And I think maybe I asked something about chew. I don't even, but if it was a sign for that, I don't know. So he mentioned something about some business idea, like chewing tobacco for ladies. And I'm like, no, I'm good on that. And so I don't remember this. And then he starts going, you're working with circular logic. I don't work I work with direct logic. Can you explain the difference? And is he like questioning my intelligence between direct and indirect? And so I'm telling him I don't remember about the tobacco. I asked why you feel I profiled you. What made you think I did that? And so he responds with, "You're being difficult. I'm realizing it's your nature. You simply asked if I chewed tobacco, and I replied, where are you going with this?" I'm just trying to understand. Like, I don't remember it. And I said, "Is that what you mean by me profiling you?" Because I'm still trying to like understand. Is it something about chewing tobacco and being, I don't know, maybe a farmer in Indiana? I said, "I'm not being difficult. I have clearly answered your questions concisely." I said, "I don't see a clear answer to my question. Stop calling me difficult. I have communicated clearly. Instead of insulting me, ask clarifying questions." And so I tell him to stop insulting me, and he goes, "AKA, you're highly difficult. I hate difficult." So I'm just trying to ask him to clarify, and I'm being called difficult. And I'm like, "You still haven't answered the question on how I profiled you. I've asked multiple times. You are being difficult. So it frustrates me. Check the message thread." So it's all in text. So I said again, "Let me know how I profiled you." And so I'm like, "Not talking to me?" And he's like, "No, I have a day job, not always able to use social media at all times." Okay. So remember, it's okay for him to say, "I've been busy." And I said, "Okay." I didn't give him a hard time. And then the next day he goes, "Friday and payday, had this weekend off." And I said, "Nice." So I had told my friend, I said, he wants me to ask him out. Why else would he tell me? Basically, my schedule is free and I have money. So I'm not going to ask myself out for somebody to spend money on me. I'm old school. So I just replied, "Nice." And the next day he goes, "Will I ever see you again?" Okay. Never asked me out, but it's starting to hurt his ego that I'm not being easy and just setting things up or begging to see him. And so I needed some time to process that. Next day, he's like, question mark, question mark. And so within 3.5 hours of him questioning, he goes, "Who's ignoring who?" Now, I don't who's ignoring who now? I don't expect a response. So I told him there was some tragedy that had gone on and is still in the process of going on. I don't want to say it on social media yet, but he's like, "My God, that's terrible." And I said, "Nerve-wracking for sure." Okay, so it goes into like some traumatic stories, you know. And so now we're at Tuesday. He's, "How are you doing?" "I'm mostly good, but sometimes vexed." And I told him I'm feeling a little better. He goes, "I must simply ask, well, because of jealousy, do you have standard work hours?" So I'm like, "I work almost nonstop." And so then he responds with, "When is the atomic clock time, date, and location I could have more than a 50% probability of seeing you again?" And I was like, "You got to ask me out and see." He goes, "If you work all the time, I suspect limited time availability. Maybe we can work with your schedule 2026. And I'm like, "Okay." All right. So then it comes up on Wednesday. He's like, "Nah, tomorrow at 6:15 p.m. at this nice restaurant at a casino. See what you would like ahead of time." So that's really nice. It is a nice gesture to say, "Hey, let's go to this nice restaurant. Go ahead and check it out. Think about what you want." And so at 3 o'clock, I'm still sleeping, okay, because I had to go out of town. I came back. And then, like I said, I had to go to the train station, had to teach online. I was exhausted, so I took a nap. Didn't check my messages yet. And he goes, "Since I haven't heard back, maybe some other time." And I said, "I'm sorry I didn't see this earlier. Yes, I'd like a rain check, please." Okay, so I'm being kind, cordial. And he goes, "Okay, I've made other plans. I must say it's been an extremely productive day for myself." Okay, so he tells me about some of the things that he's done. And I'm like, "Wow, that's impressive." And so he's kind of, he goes, "The story behind the transaction was incredible. If you or anyone wants a vintage motorcycle, I'm the man to see." So I'm like, "Tell me about the story." And he goes, "No, you dissed me tonight. I find that highly unacceptable." And I'm like, "I didn't diss you. Like, I was sleeping." And he's like, I asked you out, zero response. I said, I'm sorry, I didn't see this earlier. Um, and so he's like, nah, I'm fine with my career, brokering motorcycles and my personal activities. Don't need you dragging things down. I'm good. And I'm like, you've been so terrible to me. And he's like, nah, no, you claim I don't ask you out. I did plenty of notice. So it was like 11 o'clock at night almost. And those of you who really know me and know my schedule is unpredictable. If you remember me in live chat, I had like my eye was kind of swollen up in here and up in here, and I had like earaches. I haven't felt the best. And a little bit of a cold starting. I'm not like terrible, but sleep has been off. But so, anyways, he goes, no, you claim I didn't ask you out. I did with plenty of notice. It's, the night before, and it could be an acceptable time, but at least give somebody a day. He goes, zero, no response. The onus is completely on you. You can shove the passive aggressive shit up your ass. How's that? So that's really nice talking to a lady like that. And I'm like, sorry, bud, you mentioned something we should do. You didn't ask me out. So telling me to shove it up my ass, that's awesome. I'm glad you reflected on what I said because I'm like, process this. Like, you're being mean to me. You're assuming things. I'm trying to clarify. You're deflecting it. And I said, you expect me to stroke your ego, answer you immediately, ask myself out, on and on. I said, it's too bad because I did enjoy our time together. And I'm like, I never profiled you. And I'm like, you never even told me why you thought I profiled you despite asking several times. And I don't know what that means. Does that mean I think he has a ton of kids? I know he doesn't live on a farm. Does it mean farmers can be rich, farmers can be poor? I don't know what I'm profiling. And not everybody that lives there, like the friends I have in Indiana, none of them are farmers. So I don't know what he's talking about. And he goes, as I suspected and observed, you are extremely damaged goods, definitely a result from an extremely dysfunctional relationship. So he does check my Facebook profile, but not everything I post is reflected on me. Okay. So we have to remember this with social media. It's kind of like a facade, but I'm a life coach and I try to either stimulate conversation. I do make money off of it. So some of my stuff is thought provoking. Some of it isn't always my perception. It might be devil's advocate or am I super sad that day? No, but I'm trying to uplift other people or to relate to them. So he's who's profiling who, right? And so he goes, definitely a result from an extremely dysfunctional relationship. We never talked about any of my relationships. And so I'm like, LOL, check yourself, babe. I'm like, bye. It's just got to be too much. He's not reflecting. And I said, crazy thing is, my posts are not all about me. I'm a life coach. And I also told him that as a digital creator, I turn off my notifications because I don't always want to be woken up because people will message me all night long if I don't. So if I don't get the message right away, it's because my notifications are off. And I said, asking me out late at night is not plenty of notice. And mentioning we should do something isn't asking me out either. You have told me to shove it up my ass. You have assumed many things incorrectly. So instead of listening, you attack me. And I said, I apologize for not saying it earlier. I've been kind. I've asked you to expand or clarify. I was trying to have a healthy conversation, yet you made it very difficult and full of passive aggressiveness. And I would like your input. Like, go ahead and tell me what I'm doing wrong, other than interacting. But I'd love to hear your comments. And I said, you tell me to shove it up my ass. And I'm like, nice way to talk to a lady. So yeah, you've been toxic to me. So I'm not calling him toxic. I'm telling him he's toxic to me. So I'm trying to be kind, trying to let him know, but I'm also speaking truth. And I said specifically, other than asking you to reflect or give me time to respond, it wasn't even a full day. And I got back to you when I saw it. So I like, if I'm so damaged, I'll just set you free. Like, you don't have to worry about me. And I'm like, you're so wrong about me. And he goes, it was yesterday I asked you out. It's okay. You have a problem with managing your activities. I'm correct with every observation. So, me managing my activities when you ask me out at like 11 o'clock at night for dinner the next day, knowing that most people, anyways, work till 5, um, it's managing my activities. My schedule is my schedule, and I'm fine with the way I'm managing my activities. I'm paying my bills, and I do have like an awkward time. I work till I drop, basically, but that works for me. That's or I'll take time off when I have like advance notice. So it goes on and on. And I said, he goes, and you didn't detect it until then, the message. He goes, you need project management training, possibly lean management trainership, leadership training from University of Michigan worked for me. So I think he's trying to name drop that he went to like a high dollar school or something like that. I don't even know if that's like an extension type free course or if that's like his degree. So I think he's purposely name dropping. There's been a couple times he's tried to flash like some material goods. I think he's trying to uplift his ego. And I think when he's seeing that I don't like, oh my gosh, that's not working, so it hurts his feelings. So I said, I'm a digital creator. I turn this off so I'm not bombarded. He goes, I'm not mad, just disappointed. So I told him, I'm like, you push me away. Do you even see that? And he goes, no, I simply asked you on a date. So all this stuff is not just asking me on a date. It's me saying, give me some time, or I'm sorry. Um, you know, so tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what he's doing wrong. And I told him, I'm like, I'm sorry you don't see the full picture. I tried to explain it. You told me to shove my words up my ass, plus other things I've explained. He goes, good grief. You said I didn't ask you out. Asked you out, absolute failure mode. So he's not getting any of this conversation. He's just picking out that one thing. I did ask you out. I did things right. You're the one who didn't get back to me in time, da 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 da. And he goes, I said, it's okay. You don't understand what I'm saying. You don't see it. He goes, you're trying circular logic. Doesn't work with me. Try another intelligence method and go. And I said, not true. I've been straightforward. So I'm not falling for this. I'd like your opinion. Have I been straightforward with him? This is what's bothering me. This is what I don't understand. This is what I see. And so I'm like, not true. I've been straightforward. Go reflect on what I've said and we could talk about it later. So his response, I said, okay, I'll think about it. He's like, you're too difficult for me. I'm out. Okay. So they know this is that like fake discard. And I go, this is projection, deflection, and playing the victim. I said, it's okay. You don't see it. I said, instead of trying to understand me, you bailed. Um, and then he goes, you're a highly damaged woman working in a strange direction. Good luck with that. So I don't know what this strange direction is. Highly damaged, like I went out with him one time. And have we even had a phone conversation? Um, so, I'm like highly damaged. He has no clue on anything. So I'm like insults without knowledge. I'm like, you have no clue. You don't like me calling you out. You don't like me, so go. I said, I'd love for you to have a therapist evaluate our conversation because for his sake, it'd be nice for him to kind of reflect on this because he's going to have this problem repeating and repeating. Me, I should have just saved myself an evening and just let it go. Um, he doesn't like, um, for one thing, that I'm not at his beck and call, that I'm not stroking his ego. I think it's his self-esteem. Like, does she like me? I want her to like me, and she's not responding quick enough. So this is like the self-esteem thing. So in person, I will give him some credit. He is intelligent. He was a gentleman. He didn't force anything physical on me, so I appreciate that. And it's just like how the low self-esteem starts getting into it and how he's attacking me. So it's not even time to develop. We haven't even had a second date. And I don't even know if it was a date or a friend date or whatever it was, but you know, uh I said, fine, I will see you in January. And I'm trying to like kind of coach him, like, I'm not going to just invite myself places. That's just not me. And I would like a man who steps up to the plate. There's times I'll ask out, but not in the beginning. And he goes, I spent time with you. You have excited a highly damaging relationship. I'm sorry for you. So, me interacting kind of fuels the fire. So I will own up to that. But I'm also trying to give him some insight. He doesn't want to hear any of it. And his insight is like name calling. He's not trying to say really anything helpful or the, you need time management thing. I think that was more of like a plug. Could I use some time management? Maybe. But I live alone and I'm not in a relationship. And if I want to sleep during the day, I can sleep during the day because I work better at night. I feel better at night. So do I have to conform to his schedule when we're not even dating? Um, so I'm like, really, do you have any clue how long it's been since I've dated? I'm like, no, you don't. So I told him to leave me alone. He's wrong about me and mean. So it's gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm done with this. And he goes, I have been nothing but kind to you. Uh, Guess you're unattentive or possibly don't pay attention. Were you not invited to an expensive dinner tonight? So it is nice. It is an extra kind gesture when people do spend extra money. He wanted a nice evening. I recognize that. But I'd be happier at McDonald's with good conversation than an expensive restaurant feeling obligated or a prize. So I do appreciate the gesture. I will say that, but I also don't want to take advantage of them. And if we can't even have a conversation, there's no point having him spend money on a dinner with me. So I did a little quote like, he's like, were you not invited? Like, what is wrong with you? I'm trying to treat you right. And I kind of quoted his words back, like, Cindy, which is me, shove it up your ass, you're dysfunctional, damaged, poor time management, on and on. I'm like, you're not being nice to me. And I go, you won't listen that I was sleeping. You don't see it. You've told me many times in so many ways that you don't like me, that I judged you, on and on. And I said, yeah, it was nice that you asked me out. So I'm trying to be kind. I point out that I responded kindly. And I go, other than that, you have been mean and judgmental, condescending. And I'm like, you are mean to me. And I acknowledge, I said, yes, dinner would have been nice, but you attacked me when I asked you to reflect. And I said, you said goodbye when I also asked you to reflect. I'm like, so why are you bothering me? I don't understand it. Why do you bother me? But, oh, I said, I understand why you bother me, but I don't think you do. He's bothering me because he wants to be right. Um, he wants to, I guess, win me over. He doesn't want to lose. And maybe it's a challenge. Maybe he's trying to piss me off because in his mind, I'm pissing him off. So he goes, wow, you definitely have a warped sense of reality. This message trail has enlightened me. So I would like to ask you guys, do you see any sense of him reflecting on any of the words that I have said? Um, do I really need for me to reflect on shove it up your ass? You're having a midlife crisis. You're profiling me when I know I'm not. I know I'm not. And for me to reflect on that, I've asked for information. Like if he said something, so I can have a base of knowledge to reflect on, but unless I said, like, I don't know. So I said, not once did you reflect on what I said. And I said, I did. I told him, I hope he has somebody else read this thread and get back to him. So it's just gotten to the point where I'm like, screw it. I don't owe you shit other than a thank you. That was nice that he took me out. But I'm like, if not, I'll be doing a podcast if you'd like to see the comments. And He goes, hey, do a podcast and especially mention my name. Please tell everyone my name and start it off by telling them to fuck off. So his name, no, I'm not going to do that. I want to. But so yeah, guys, he wants you to fuck off too. So who's the toxic one? Comment, comment, please. All right. Normally I don't put my shit out there, but it's like, fuck. Dating in 2025. We are coming up one more month till 2026. I hope it gets better. But yeah, this is kind of sad though, because there are times people can have enjoyable times, and it was kind of him. He did offer to pay back the $110. And I told him, don't worry about it, because he did pay for some expensive tickets for us to have an evening together. So I do want to acknowledge that, but I also want to acknowledge no self-reflection and telling all of us now to fuck off. And he wants his name out there, so I'm not going to stroke his ego. Topic requests are welcome. I won't usually be putting my shit out there, but pissed today. Have a good one, guys. I didn't say any names, so it's for educational purposes only. All right. Topic requests are welcome. Please like and subscribe. Share this. This will give some insight to somebody where you're like, just walk away. Just walk away. This is one of the relationships where it's not worth it. There are some where it's like, okay, you guys just aren't seeing eye to eye. But when it's condescending projection, one way, and I'm not here to stroke his ego. Topic requests are welcome, and I am single.